You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC. Breaking news, WABC.
Well, with us right now is John Solomon. He always has some great news for us. John Solomon, what the heck is going on out there?
Well, as we have a new FBI director nominee, we now learn that he was a victim of an earlier FBI abuse. Today, the Inspector General of the Justice Department, Michael Horowitz, the man who unraveled the Russia collusion case a few years ago, confirmed reporting in Just the News more than a year ago that the Justice Department obtained the phone records of Kash Patel, now the FBI director nominee, but at the time, chief investigator for the House Intelligence Committee, and they did so inappropriately. They didn't tell the court or anybody that they were actually looking at the executive branch spying on Congress, who was investigating the Justice Department. So the Justice Department wanted to spy on the people who were investigating them. They used it. They didn't disclose the fact that they were looking at Congress staff. The Inspector General said that was an inappropriate use of
And whose Justice Department was it, John?
It was the Trump Justice Department under the direction then of acting Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who was acting for all things Russia collusion at the time. So Rod Rosenstein's legacy lingers large.
But he was kind of a separate agent, wasn't he?
What's that?
Was it Rosenstein really a separate agent? He wasn't controlled by the Trump people.
Well, he was the Deputy Attorney General, but in that case, he was supposed to be independent because the Attorney General at the time, Jeff Sessions, had recused himself. So, but he was an appointee of President Trump, and it was on this watch that all these things happened. There's another congressional investigator also who was spied on. He was an investigator for Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. And today, Congress acted with bipartisan fury at these revelations. They don't like being spied on by the executive branch. Maybe they're not always upset when we average Americans get there, but when their own people are, a lot of anger today. The Inspector General doing a very thorough report. But remember, Chris Wray, the current FBI director, keeps telling us he fixed all these things. The Inspector General keeps finding examples of things that aren't fixed, that affect all of our civil liberties and our constitutional separations of power. So very big story that's been ruminating throughout Washington today. And just a few minutes ago, we've been keeping up to date on the Act Blue investigation. Act Blue, the largest online fundraising operation for Democrats and liberal causes, more than $2 billion raised over the last 2 decades. Tonight, House Administration Committee Chairman Brian Stahl, the man who oversees election integrity in Congress, said the Democratic fundraising platform, Act Blue, has told him and confirmed that they only recently began automatically blocking donations made with foreign gift cards. What does that mean? Stahl says that means for most of the last 2 decades, Act Blue did not block foreign gift cards from being used for donation, even though the federal election law says you can't accept foreign money for political donations. This is an explosive new revelation, certain to take this investigation that Stahl began a few months ago into 2025. Maybe a new Justice Department will also look at it, but a growing evidence that there might be foreign money flowing into Act Blue or through Act Blue to Democratic
candidates. Are we going to find out where that $1.5 billion came in for Kamala Harris in just 15 weeks?
Well, it's funny that you ask that, John, because that's a very important question. I just learned tonight that Congress will be allowed to look next week at hundreds of suspicious activity reports filed by banks involving Act Blue. These are reports that flag suspected money laundering. The fact that the government has known maybe for years, certainly for quite some time, that there was suspicious money moving through Act Blue is a shocker. It means the Biden Treasury Department probably stood silent, didn't tell anybody. Congress has been fighting to get those. They subpoenaed them recently. I'm learning that next week they could finally get a look at them. That may show where some of these monies came from. Remember what Chairman Stahl has told us all. He believes money came from China, Russia, Iran, and Venezuela to Democrats through Act Blue. Now, he hasn't told us why he believes that yet, but these suspicious activity reports could give us that answer.
And I heard what I heard was kickbacks from the Ukraine on foreign money and the United States money they were getting.
Wow. And
That's
they just got another $1 billion from Biden.
Well, I guess
$1 billion is the new million in Ukraine. There's no doubt about it.
$1 billion means there has to be some
You have
returns.
to take care of the big guy, don't you?
Yeah, the big guy. And
they're asking for 24
Kamala's still in debt, too,
Does
remember?
does that 10% go to ActBlue?
A commission.
So many questions the Democrats have left us with. So many questions.
You think we could find the $1 billion?
I think we just have to find out the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's really what's going on here.
Enough with jokes. We have to find out the truth.
We do.
Yeah. By the way, before I let you go, John, I want to ask you about the shooter, because this is just breaking just now. This is incredible. This is on the United Healthcare shooting. The guy was had the extradition hearing today. The attorney for him, his name is Thomas Dickey. I don't know if it's court appointed or family appointed. But he's saying, get this, I haven't seen any evidence that the suspect is the shooter.
That's why people in our profession, Craig Eaton, don't like lawyers.
Oh my gosh. And on a serious note, you know what's interesting? We were talking about this money that was found on him. There was $10,000 in cash found on him, and that included $2,000 in foreign money. Have you heard? Is there something more to the story here, John? You're good at this stuff.
We don't know yet. There's a lot of rumors flowing out there. I think the most interesting thing is he's going to fight extradition. He doesn't want to leave Pennsylvania and go to New York. A lot of people waive extradition, so that's an interesting moment. It may be the first sort of contested part of the proceedings. We might not even get to answer the charges in New York because he's going to fight extradition. That's something we're watching very carefully. There's a lot of rumors, not a lot of proof right now. We're really working, we're being very careful to make sure we know something before we report it. But there are a lot of questions that investigators are still piecing together about what motivated him, if he is the shooter, and also who may have helped him. I mean, this guy apparently printed a gun off a 3D printer. He had some pretty good tactics for sneaking up and being undetected in one of the most monitored cities in the world, New York City, with all the cameras. So there's a lot of questions about where is his training from? Where did he learn this? Why did he do this? We're going to learn a lot more, but keep in mind, a lot of these early reports often don't turn out to be true. We got to work really hard to make sure we get to the actual facts, like John always says.
Thank you, John Solomon, and we'll catch up with you again. We have to find out the truth. The American people are demanding the truth. Keep fighting, right. John Solomon. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.